And a big aloha. I'm Cindy Palos, and this is Talk Story, the longest-running talk show on Maui. I've been doing this on Tuesdays for 30 years, and over the years I've had the pleasure and honor many times to talk to Kimokea. I think in the old days it was Bully. When I first started seeing you back then, it was Bully.
I'm really honored and privileged to be here this afternoon with you, Cindy.
You were, I have to say, there's probably three people on this island I think that I honor the most as far as teachers and good works they give back. It's you. I love Archie and George Kamoko. And you're my top three heroes on this island.
They're all legends, and both come with a really great history of Archie being a really waterman and a great big surfer, and he also has been affiliated with the Hokulea and the Polynesian Voyage Society, and he did several of the lakes, and we want to thank all the guys who did the worldwide voyage. You know, it was quite an undertaking, and Archie was part of that undertaking, and Snow was Snake Ahi, and both of these gentlemen were in its original part of the development of Polynesian Voyage Society for the Maui people. So, and there are others, but especially Snake Ahi, who's been there for every voyage since 1976, you know, and Archie himself too. So our hats off to them, and we're so happy that they're safely home and be able to share what has happened with the Polynesian Voyaging Society around the world.
Well, also with us today, I'm very happy to have Keahau King. Hello.
Aloha.
Aloha. I'm going to go Facebook Live here because we're going to talk about a great event that's coming up. And this event is really special. It's this coming Friday night happening. It's a dinner show at Nalu'S South Shore Grill with the amazing Sister Robi Kahakalau, Jon Cruz, Barry Flanagan, Jarrett Roback, and Moku Harris and Ohana. And boy, what a great lineup. And it's going to be also a dinner, right?
Yes, a dinner, Hawaiian buffet dinner with definitely awesome entertainment and some hula dancers there.
I can't even imagine this. The vibe will be so high. I've been a fan of Sister Robi Kahakalau ever since I heard her first album. And I have to say, she's got this great voice, Hawaiian style, right?
Yes.
And all that, all the great stuff she's done is amazing.
And
we
want
Cruz,
everybody to know that she, making a preview with us, and she hasn't been here for a little while, so we're so excited to have Sister Robi here.
Yeah.
And everyone else on the lineup, Moku Harris, Barry Flanagan, Jared Roback, and Jon Cruz. So we have definitely a great lineup, guys, so please come and this event is really made for the Hawaiian Outrigger Canoe Voyaging Society, and particularly I'll let Keahau describe that, because this is about Na Wahine o ka Moana, and they've come really a long ways to voyage with us, and I'll let her share her experience and how this come about and what we're doing with Na Wahine ka Moana.
Well, absolutely, because there's a big history here. And I just have to say, before we go full on with you, is that Kimokea is a legend, and I don't know how many thousands of people you've worked with in canoes over the years. It's been at least 30 years, maybe. How long?
Yeah, at least 30 years, and Hawaiian Outrigger Canoe Voyaging Society now in development 15 years now.
Wow.
And I just recently returned this past Monday from London, and we have 5 canoe clubs in London.
Wow.
And so I stayed with United Kingdom Outrigger Canoe Club, and we had a long distance race over 15 miles on the Thames River.
Wow, that must have been historic. The vibe must have been amazing. I bet people were lined up all along the way, waving and everything.
Yeah, it was pretty epic, because to have a canoe on the Thames, and we had a total of 12 canoes racing in this particular race, and everybody alongside, of course, cheering us on and everything else. So, and amazing to have our outrigger, Hawaiian Outrigger canoe in London, England.
Well, you know what you just told me, and I wasn't aware of this at all, is that you have canoes worldwide now. I mean, you even have them in Czechoslovakia, which, like, really, and all around the world.
You told me that your dad was from Prague, and we actually have the Mirage, which was Karel Tresnek, who is the founder of the Making a Canoe Mirage, and he made the Mirage a three-piece in Czechoslovakia because the only way to ship the canoe around the world.
Wow.
And he's actually moved back there, but he was making the Mirage in Oahu. And we also have the three-piece Bradley canoe, which has been made in Brazil. You know, so the canoes are made in different countries, and
some in Australia too, huh?
Australia too. The Mirage is made in Australia.
Wow. It's so, you know what? You're reaching a few pebbles started here in the stream, in the ocean, and they have spread around the world with canoes being the way to do it. And you know, you have always honored the women. The Wahine have always been a part, and a very dedicated part of the canoe associations, right?
Yes.
When did you begin with being involved?
I'm really just a newbie to paddling. It's been about 5 years almost now, but with this group of women, very new this past year, we've started with myself and then my friend, and now we're up to about 36 women here, large. And really what it was a group of women coming together, and I wanted to provide them the opportunity to see all different aspects of paddling, whether it was recreational, voyaging, racing, competition-wise with regatta, and just many different views of paddling. But most of all was really to provide them the aspect of culture of the paddling first before anything else. And that is what inspired me in that. And through the paddling, you see so much value and purpose that we can reflect upon on the water, the same that we do on land, how we live our lives. And so I like to kind of view that way when you have, 6 different people, women in our case, coming together to really find that perfect melody or that harmony on that water to connect with all of the elements, with the ocean, with the wind, with all of the great elements out there. It's pretty astounding, and I've got to say, I have women who's never touched the water, never paddled before, now can't wait to get back in the water. They're in need of it. I like to look at it as a way of healing through paddling. And so, we have women that are just like me, it's consumed them now. It's become a great addiction, a positive addiction in their life. And so this right now here is just a means to try and build our funds, and we were looking to fundraise to purchase a new canoe for ourselves to, like Uncle Kimokea, travel from island to island and voyage and just see the many, many wonderful things that paddling has to offer. And I don't think that anyone will know until you get in the canoe yourself and you do it yourself.
And there's a lot of work and dedication. You get those people out there early in the morning, don't you? You've always gotten them out at sometimes
it's
right
best
at dawn.
time for us. So we get out, like this morning, we were out there at 5 a.m. And actually the group gathered up at 4:30 to take the canoes from Kihei down to an event we had at the Kealani Hotel with a special group called Lenovo, and they're a technology company from all parts of the world. And we went down there to do event with them, a couple races, and share the culture. And at 4:30 a.m., Keahau and her women came down to take 2 canoes. And then we also had another guitarist. So can you imagine that? We had a total of 24 women this morning moving canoes from North Kihei all the way down, paddling in the full moon about to set for the day.
Wow, magical.
And going out in the silhouette and paddle all the way down to the Carolina Resort. So
wow.
You gotta give these ladies a really a great applaud of what they're doing. So just imagine that last year Keahau and several women paddled with Uncle from Hilo to the north side of the island of Mokukeawi, Waimea, Kohala area, down to Kihei, and then on to Kona. And it took the ladies 23 and a half hours to be in the canoe doing a 1 hour on, 1 hour off. I think we left in a weird morning at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. It was about 23 hours.
Yeah, we got there.
You were doing it all nonstop, just overnight and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the canoe doesn't stop. Cindy, what stops is the women. So the women will go in for 45 minutes to an hour, and then they'll make a change, Wow. Of course, they got out of the canoe after 23 and a half hours, got a really nice nap, and then they paddle in the Queen Liliuokalani, which is 18 miles iron up from Kono to Kealakaku Bay.
And you have another one.
Now.
You're doing McKenna to Hana this weekend, I heard.
That's correct. They, a couple weeks ago, paddled the canoe from Kahului Harbor to McKenna. And this Saturday evening, or Saturday morning, they'll start loading up the escort boat at 4 o'clock.
Wow.
And leave at 5 a.m. and paddle the way out from McKenna to Hana. And we'll be there for the night. And then they'll get up in the morning and probably leave sunrise again and go from Hana to Kahului, and they've complete what we call Kaiupuni o Maui, circle the island with your canoe.
So upper body strength, huh?
Actually, you know what? It would seem that way, but it's actually a full body activity. It really is, yeah.
I would have thought that it's just mainly your arms from paddling, but it's a full body because you have to lean into it, I guess, huh?
Yeah. You definitely want to use those legs, the bigger muscles in your body too.
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, use all of them.
So it started, Kimo, when you began, there was like how many canoe clubs? I know you did the Kihei, and you started there in Kihei, didn't you?
You know, I was really, the club was started here. I think the first canoe clubs here was Hawaiian Canoe Club, which was, I think, originally named in Wailuku o Kahului. That time was called the Kahului Canoe Club, and they branched off together, which is Hawaiian Canoe Club and Nakaivalu. So I think both of those clubs, I think it's about 50 years old, I'm not sure. So they're really the originators on this island, you know. And then now we have, on the North Shore, we have Lai'ula, and we, of course, have Hawaiian and Nakaivalu, Lai'ula o Keihei. And then we have way on the east there, Hana Canoe Club. And Hana started way back in the 70s. So
did it, yeah. Yeah,
a lot of the clubs started, you know, pretty early back there, but they all branched off from what happened here in Central Maui. And then today you have Napili, Lahaina, and Kahana, which is on the west side. And here we have on the South Shores, which is Kihei Canoe Club, and Keahau is with the Wailea Canoe Club. And so we have here, I think, a total of 9 clubs, yeah?
And I love what you said, Keahau. And I know, and I forgot Clifford. I have to add Clifford into one of my most honored men. Clifford did a couple of workshops about how the symbolism of a canoe is like living together, right?
Yes.
Like being able to live in peace together. If you're working in a canoe, you understand the energy of all working together, because you have to work as one, right?
Sure, yeah. Well, you know, I like to share, too, with our women that, you know, it's never, if there's anything wrong in the canoe, it's really not the water or the paddle or the canoe, it's the people. You know, and so just like when we're out of the canoe, right, when we're working with anybody, it's, you know, we interact with people, and that's usually more where the challenge that we get. And it's no different than in the canoe. So when you can set all your personal everything on the side and come together for one common goal within the canoe, it just makes, you know, inspires and motivates people to utilize that method outside of the canoe while they're on land, whether it's with work, with your family, with your friends, and, you know, and we learn from that. I think that's the best thing about it.
It's definitely a learning situation. And over the years, you know, you wear a few hats, as we all do on the islands, but you're a kahu. Have you ever even thought to think of how many times you've brought people's ashes out to the water and help people with beautiful words, bring them together as they celebrate their transition on? I mean, you've done, it's got to be hundreds, maybe thousands, huh?
Yeah, we've done a whole lot of that. And, you know, it's a special, I'm really honored and privileged to serve that, because many people come and visit, and many of our own people go to the ocean, and it's a really beautiful thing for them, knowing that they can go what we call with the na'amakua, you know, out of the dolphin, the whale, the shark, the honu, hinano, the stingray. So I think that they feel really, really at peace of having their family going to the ocean. And so everybody has their own choice, but a lot decide to go to the ocean. And then, you know, we're all connected, you know, culturally with the forest of the different wood to make the canoe, which is the core wood.
Good point.
And so culturally, we're connected in Akua Vau. We call it the forest Akua Vau, where everybody, the spirits arrive, the god arrives on the top of the mountain, you know. Mm-hmm. So having a core canoe and understanding Mauka, the different wood like kawila, kolea, the hardwood that we use to make our canoe, different parts for the marine structure. So, looking at the Kahuna Kalaiva'a and understanding his work and understanding the different wood he used for that brings you really close to the mountain of knowing what we need to do and continue to reforestate our native plants. It's really important that we continue to do that because they play a very big role in what we did and what we did with it and why we did it. So we right now have a core canoe in Oahu that's over 150 years old.
Wow, amazing.
And it's really a Marnike canoe,
Wow.
But we have a lot of core canoes that's out in the islands that all our core canoe come with a history of a canoe maker, the Kahuna Kalaiva'a, and also the Moko Auhau, the genealogy of one family owning a canoe and having a special name of their family, and the family name coming from a Mokupuni, an island, Moku the district, and Ahupua'a. So it's really...
Which, for people listening that may not know, because we have a lot of Facebook from people all around the world, on the islands, it's like a triangle, the point being at the top of the mountain and the triangle going down, and that's the area that all the islands have certain areas.
Exactly.
And I think on Maui there were like 6 or 7. I mean, I
we have
forget.
12 of them.
12 of them, yeah.
And so each of the Mokus have a way of identifying themselves by the decoration of a flower lei.
Oh, really?
Or tapa cloth, or a special hakule made from their ali'i flowers. So
well, canoes are living things.
What's that?
They are carrying living energy, and as you think of the one that's 150 years old, you think of all the time and the people that have passed on that have used the canoes. It's an amazing heritage.
Yeah, well, if you look at the va'a, you look at the front, we kind of look at part of everyone have a way of historically describing or ancestrally describing the va'a. The front of the canoe, we describe it as manu'ihu, which is the male, feed and clothe and protect the family. The body of the canoe is kino, our body, and how do we take care of ourselves so we can take care of the family. The palikai, the splash god, we kealakai ko mau kupuna. Our ancestors have set the pathway. All we need to do is be on the path. And then you have noho, the seat, to reflect on kupono, to know who we are, what we are, and what we do and where we go. Of course, we have the braces between the canoe. We call that the vai or the pipiao. Pipiao, more of the hearing, listen. Ho'olo is to listen. Napo'e kalani, listen to the people of the heaven. Napo'e ka Moana, listen to the people of the ocean. Napo'e kono, listen to people to the land. And they say to us that I give you all these natural gifts, and now it's yours, and take care of it as I have done. And how do we pass it on to the generations to come?
So much more needs to be done to do that. And every time one of these beautiful canoes is born, has a life beyond even some of us definitely here. And that is exactly why this coming Friday night, there's going to be this dinner show, silent auction raffle at Nalu'S South Shore Grill with the amazing Sister Robi Kahakalau, whose voice is just one of my favorite female vocalists, really, ever, and on the islands. And Jon Cruz, I just adore him, Barry Flanagan, Jarrett Roback, and Moku Harris. The thing is that people really, really, really should call because Nalu'S isn't that big, and this is going to be a very special night. So they should call 359-9103, and it's at 1280 South Kihei Road. And I know you're here now, so that's your number, so maybe they won't be
That is my number, yes.
You can leave a message.
Yeah, I've actually cleared out my message for that. So they can call me direct, reserve ticket sales for that as well. And, of course, if they want to make a personal donation, they're welcome to do so as well. And I did just want to note that, I asked Sister Robi to come out and sing and, have them entertainment and sharing in that because I wanted to, she was kind of like a pivotal part in with our women, even in the industry of the music. And so although we're emphasizing the women of paddling, it also reaches out to all the women everywhere in their successes and the great challenges that they've overcome in their lives. So she was definitely one of the first of my choice to have her on there. And of course, the rest of the gang, they play so well together. And on that note, though, also is, even though we're emphasizing the women, you know, our kane in our community have been so supportive everywhere. So this never, you know, excludes everyone else in our ohana va'a, in our support within our community.
That's so true. I do want to take a moment because those of you who have followed you and love you, and there's so many, Kimokea, may have followed your story. And as I say, you're kind of legendary in the canoe world, and have done so much. But here's a person, you, who is so in tune with the ocean and so aware, but you had a life-changing experience on the water. How was that? A year and a half, 2 years ago, where that happened?
Oh, that was last April. You know, we had a race from Maliko Gauch to Kahului Harbor. It was a very big day for surfing. You know, Keahau here was on the crew with us, so you know, we had actually I was not feeling well, and we actually took a very large wave, and we made it okay on one wave, and the next wave we did not. And so we were in the water for a little while, and I took ill and was sent to emergency, and found that my liver was infected and pretty much shuts down my system. So I'm really honored and privileged to continue to what I'm doing here, and want to thank everybody for all the prayers that they had done for me and all the blessing. And many people have done that, and prayers are very powerful.
Yes, they
are. And they actually saved me, and that was very epic for me to be in London, and them taking me to the church that they prayed for me a year and a half ago.
Oh, they prayed in London as well. All of your family, your big ohana.
Yeah, prior to that, early April, or just April, making a year, I was in Japan, and they showed me the church that they prayed for me also. And
isn't that amazing?
They said it was really tears in the eyes to see me kneel down, and 1 year ago they were kneeling down praying for me. And so I thank everybody in the world, and especially everybody here home in Maui that was so concerned and prayed for me every day. So mahalo.
Mahalo ke akua.
Yes, mahalo ke akua, na amo kua na kupuna, and na oha no kawa.
This was something that really was serious. I mean, you're saying it very matter of fact, but you were in the hospital for a while.
I got in the hospital April 1st, April Fool's Day. And it wasn't until April 3rd that they had some serious things with me, and I was in a coma since then until April 22nd. So I was in a coma from the 3rd to April 22nd.
So I do believe, and I've seen this happen with prayers, and I know that you were willing to receive them, and part of you knew that. I didn't know that you were in a coma for 20 days. I was not aware that you were in a coma. I knew that it was serious, but this is the first I've ever heard you were in a coma. So during that time, where were you while your body was resting?
Everybody asked that question. That's Cindy, you know, and it's really a strange thing because many things goes on in your head, you know, and definitely was the canoes in my head, and many things went on, but it's a thing that your mind just drifts away pretty far in what you want to do, you know. And I'd like to share one of the things that went through my mind was about the mountain and how do we bring the core back, you know, to make more canoes, you know.
Really, you remember that, going through that?
I remember that.
Was it like a dream, or do you?
It was like a dream, and the dream was about, because I'm always working with kids and taking every high school group from one moku to the other moku, and finally taking them up to the mountain. And just imagine that in a dream I dreamed about every surfer to go up and get a core and make a surfboard, and every ukulele player go up and make a ukulele. We would probably be able to reforestate everybody on the core tree by just going up and taking all the dry wood and encourage everyone to put a new tree on Maui and do a 200-year plan in bringing back all forests to bring more water to Maui and more native plants.
200-year plan. Now, of course, we know Jon Cruz's beloved Keahau is working with reforestation.
Correct.
She's been up there working hard on doing that, and every little bit of that helps. I mean, because, you know, it takes time. It doesn't take that long to bring a tree down. but it takes a long time to grow them back.
Yeah, we have that happening. Prior to that, already, Wahine is a great project. And Life is a great project up at Hawaiian Homes called with Walter Kanamo doing Life Living Indigenous Forest Ecosystem. And of course, we have our own Haleakala National Park, Nature Conservancy, and Maui Nui, Malama Maui Nui. And then we have the West Maui reforestation of the top, and also the east, and the watersheds that we have on the island. So everybody's doing everything they can do, and
even in when we think of what's happening, it's changing. We're starting to see some weather patterns change from Ko'olave as they start to even try to do reforestation on Ko'olave now too.
Yeah, even you look back at what they started and what's happening, with Ko'olave Island Reserve Commission and PKO, Protect Ko'olave Ohana. Now we don't have a brown spot. We have green all over the island, very little brown spots. And I remember in the 70s, you will still have people bombing it and see a lot of red spot in Ko'olave. And they've done a wonderful job, and very challenging time for them to continue to have funding and everything else. So it's really great that we can see that from Maui now.
You know what I love also, and maybe you can speak to this also, Keahau. I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name.
Nope, that's right.
Okay.
Keahau.
There's sometimes people see a difference in the way if you're Hawaiian or if you're Haole or you're not accepted. But I have seen in the canoe community, I know many Haole or white women are accepted with open arms. You don't have to be Hawaiian to be a part of this community. I haven't seen discrimination at all in the canoe community.
No, definitely not. I like to think that for us as Kanaka Maoli, that, especially for me, I'm born and raised in Kihei area, and if anything, it is our kuleana actually to share our culture and with those. And if there's ever anyone that doesn't know or have no knowledge, it's actually our fault for not sharing the real culture of what that is. You can look on Google, you can read whatever you want. However, that can be elaborated and changed. The real culture is within ourselves. And I myself have 6 children. And You have 6 children? I do.
Oh, I should have them. You stand. You're in such. You got to stand up, people. You're in great shape. My gosh, I guess that's an example of the best way to stay in shape.
Paddling.
My gosh, that's amazing. I would never guess you have 6 children. And when do you have time to do canoeing with 6 children?
Well, they paddle too. Okay. Most of them paddle too, and and they're all doing their cultural thing. One of my daughters dance hula, and anyway, but. I share with them and I tell them, the minute you stop doing that is the minute our culture dies. So in order to continue to do that, you have to do anything you can, culture, whether it's paddling, dancing hula, weaving lohalas, doing leis, whatever you want to. And definitely to continue on that, I think mo'olelo is the perfect way. I grew up on mo'olelo, always wondered why Grandma told the same story over and over. Well, now I realize why. And she did that for a reason. And was in hopes that we would continue to tell the story.
That's true.
And so we're just here trying to continue to do that. And with the women, though, going back to what you're talking about, being discriminated or anything, majority of the women I have are not Hawaiian, are non-Hawaiian. And, I never thought to even think about that unless somebody brings that to my attention. And we are all together as equal. I don't look at them as any different. And these women have just as much deserving to know this culture as I do. And the better they do, the more value that they can get back from, it's just a win-win situation with this. So I embrace all of the women that come, whether you're an athlete, a non-athlete, or Caucasian, Asian, whatever you want to.
You just have to be able to get up early in the morning.
There you go.
Which I like doing.
Get a little wet.
So speaking of getting a little wet, I didn't realize you were in the canoe with Kimokea when that accident happened.
Yes.
And it's not considered to be a difficult, out of all the different canoe races and participations you've done, that one's a pretty simple one, going from Liko Gulch to Kanaha is considered to be kind of a fun little easy cruise, right?
Definitely, yes. And I never thought twice. When the conditions were a little bit more than normal, but again, I didn't even think twice. If there's two people in the canoe that I trust most, and that's Uncle Kimokea and my boyfriend Kaleo. But so when Uncle asked me to jump in, I said no problem. And that was definitely a scary moment. I can look back at that. But when you're out there, you're definitely out there. That is the perfect example of being at the mercy of the elements. Is that you are not in control, and we like to say you go with the Nalu. You read the ocean, you read what you feel, and honestly, I don't consider myself a strong swimmer. Like, I'm not a big surfer or somebody who's out like that a lot, but I felt comfortable. I felt very confident. I felt secure. And I was praying for, asking my kupuna to, watch over Uncle Kimokea, bring him back safely. And as we say in the canoe, we're all here together. Yeah, we're never separate. So especially in a situation like that, no one goes a veer to the safety to only save themselves. It's we all do it together, and that's exactly what we did. We had a great crew. Some of them were new. There were a couple novice B paddlers there, but that didn't change the status of anything right there. At that moment, we were just there as a ohana, sticking together to bring everyone home safely, and so that's exactly what happened. It was
when you have something like that happen. I mean, is it like getting thrown off a horse and getting right back on again, or did you have any second thoughts? Because you never expect anything like that to happen, where someone really like Kimo is in a situation where you're going, wow, I never expected this to happen.
No.
It has to be kind of traumatic.
It was, and you know what? It happened way too fast. You don't even have time to think. Somebody asked me, did you think about your kids? Did you think about what could have happened? I said, of course there was a brink second that I did, but you don't think about that. For me, immediately survival mode kicked in. Praise God for that, because I'm not out there on the ocean in this kind of waters all the time. So that was my first incident, being in such conditions. And I was told that was what they call extreme conditions. And, I told myself I don't really care for helicopters. That was the first time I actually went in the helicopter.
Oh, the helicopter came to save you? They pulled you out of the water?
Yeah, and I have to say that was kind of maybe scarier than the accident at one time. But, I went back out there. We did another race, and I really took a drive, looked at Maliko to see how I would feel. And I definitely wanted, if there was a fear, I would definitely wanted to overcome that fear. And did that race again, did another race of that same route. And, I felt great. I think it's when you give yourself and you have a purpose and a meaning out there, there's a lot of respect and value you put into the ocean. And so you don't take things for granted, especially after that race. I definitely don't take things for granted out there in the water.
Did you miss, you were in a coma for 20 days, or is it 21 days? 20?
I think 20 days. Yeah.
20 days. And then you had to recover after that, because you were out of it. You had to get yourself back in shape.
It took a while.
It does. It's amazing to me how you can work out and be in great shape, but you still have to get back together when you've taken a break for that. So
it was a way of a time to take care of yourself. So when I got out of there, I still had to go to therapy, and so we had physical therapy for a while. And I thank my physical therapy, Mike, and he paddles for Nakaivalu, and he was there. But we had such a great medical staff at Maui Memorial Hospital, and I go out to Dr. Shea and his staff, and bringing me in the situation where I now am today, and being able to paddle back in my canoe. So I went back in a canoe probably the late summer, and it was pretty difficult for that time. And so it's almost a year recovery now, so I feel really great.
So in something like that, I think it sounds to me like when you went to London and when you went to Japan and you found this amazing ohana of the Hawaiian Outrigger Canoe Voyaging Society, the reality of that you had this whole group of people praying for you that you didn't even know, some of them you've never met, and they were all pulling for you together. And that must have been quite a feeling to actually meet them and find out that they actually were in church praying for you.
Yeah, some of them knew me, but many did not. And all of them have voyaged with me in Hawaii. We have this great long-distance race, the largest long-distance race participant, which is the Queen Liliuokalani. And for the last 15 years, they have been paddling back from we call Mokukeawi, the island of Hawaii, to Maui, and then actually stay here for the week and paddle into the new race that we have called Maui Nui, which is about 7 years old. But prior to that was the Pailolo, and they come here and paddle the Pailolo. So most of them had come here to the islands and paddle with me from the big island all the way to Kauai, and some have paddled with me to Papahanaumoku, which is the northwestern Hawaiian island today.
Think of all the thousands of people you paddled with over the years. Kimokea, my gosh, that's quite an amazing ohana.
Yeah, we really my home club is Kihei Canoe Club, and every Tuesday, Thursday we have visitors paddle, and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday we have recreational paddle, plus competitive paddling, and every third Monday of the month we have the county of Maui that we do the adaptive paddling. So
what's the adaptive paddling?
Yeah, adaptive paddling would be the handicap that we bring down. We don't call them handicap, we just call them adaptive paddling. And they come and paddle with us for an hour, and we've been doing that for over 10 years now with them. And so it's really a great community work to be with them.
And there's the breast cancer awareness and the breast cancer survivors that also
and,
have,
in October.
Yeah, that
we did the Paddle for Life.
Yeah, which is amazing.
That's Pacific Cancer Foundation. This year we're celebrating our 10th year. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it really, again, go back and reflect to Keahau and her group. It was a group of ladies that call themselves the Pink Ladies. They're cancer survivors, and they wanted to voyage with Uncle. And we did our first voyage with them 10 years ago. And today we have many of them still around that's going to make their 10th annual this year to paddle with us the first week of October. And so that benefit is to Pacific Cancer Foundation. And we again want to thank all the sponsors and thank all the participants to do that, because and most of this has been made because of the women. The women came up and said that we would like to do a voyage. And 10 years later, we went from couple canoes, and last year we had 30 canoes.
Wow.
And we're about to launch this October. We right now have 17 teams registered, and so we encourage all the teams to get on pacificcancer.org, go to Paddle for Life, and register your team.
That's amazing. So tell me, Cal, you've got this amazing goal to make a canoe, and I think most of our listeners probably don't know, because we have Facebook people watching as well, what a big project that is. Of course, we're talking about the dinner show auction at Nalu'S with the amazing Sister Kahakalau, Jon Cruz, Barry Flanagan, and more. The dinner and auction happening this Friday. You have to call Nalu'S 3599-103. But once you get the funds, and it takes a lot to make a canoe. It takes a lot. How much money do you need to raise to make a canoe?
Well, actually, we're not going to start from scratch on this canoe, but we are purchasing a canoe. So this won't be a koa canoe that we're purchasing, because that would definitely be a big project that we have to a big endeavor there. But nonetheless, it's for the same purpose, and to get a 6-man outrigger canoe for our women to travel and go from island to island and voyage, and just to have that accessibility for our women and to showcase.
Well, canoes are expensive.
They are.
Yeah, Keahau and her group, which is the title they've just made for this event called Wahine, Moana, the Women of the Sea, and they're looking to purchase a Bradley Lightning, and the Bradley Lightning costs right now, I think it's $17,000.
Wow.
And if they're to get a canvas with that, it'll always cost them close to $20,000 to get a brand new canoe. And the Bradley Lightning is a special boat because it can cross the channels and have a beautiful canvas on it, and the Yaku and Amas, and it's a very sturdy canoe. And there's other canoes, but they have chosen to get a Bradley Lightning. So a Bradley Lightning will cost them close to $20,000 to have this delivered to Maui. So it'd be really great that you support the event. You support the Na Wahine, Moana, the ocean, the women of the ocean, and more so what they have already done. And it's just not Keahau's group only, but throughout the state of Hawaii, our women is paddling the Na Wahine o Kihei, they're paddling that. They're paddling the Pailolo. So there's not where we, the male, have paddled that they're not paddling. They're paddling every race or every distance that we've done. My original voyage that started off, which was called Northwestern Hawaiian Islands, they did not have a name for it yet. They call it Namokupuni Nakupuna, the Elder Islands of Hawaii. And joining me on one of the first voyages was a female, Donna Kahakui. And Donna Kahakui paddled a one-man canoe from island to island all the way up to Kauai.
All by herself. And since then, many have done that, Wow. But just look at our own women here. Somebody like Lauren Spalding, she paddles the one-man to Molokai, just like it's going backyard of Kahului Harbor, Wow. And so we have women that's been doing that all over the state of Hawaii. And the Team Bradley, which is all made up the women, they've held the Na Wahine o Kihei race, the channel race, for such a long time. And so we have some amazing women in the water. Yay.
And we have some, so we're asking you guys to support them. So please come out and join us on June 29th, which is this Friday at 5 o'clock.
Yep.
And again, we want to give our hats off to Nalu'S and on Kihei, because Nalu'S Ron Panzo is always open heart in doing this kind of work, and their staff. And so come and support them. We got a great lineup, and of course, many of us have never seen Sister Robi for a while, and it'd be a great night. Well, of course,
her great song is "Feel the Rhythm of the Ocean."
Yeah.
Right? I love that song, and that song actually in her music, "Feel the rhythm of the ocean."
Exactly.
Actually, you can feel it's right in tune with the rhythm of the ocean, isn't it? So it's perfect. I hope she does that song. I think she has to do that song, right? Because that's such a great song. She's one of the great female artists of the islands, absolutely.
She is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they can call Keahau at 359-9103 to get a ticket. It's again a Hawaiian buffet, $50, and that's to support that. If you can't come down there, just call in Keahau 359-9103 and tell her that you'd be interested in sponsoring part of the canoe that they're trying to get. And they'll be having all kind of silent auction items down there for us. And so encourage not only this particular event for the women of the sea, Na Wahine o Moana, but in the state of Hawaii, for all the women in the state of Hawaii.
I applaud that absolutely, and again, I mean, isn't it amazing to you that to see how many women paddlers there are out there? Are there more women paddlers than men, or is it equal about, or what do you think?
Well, I can tell you, there's more women paddlers than men.
Really?
Yes, they are.
Wow.
And, we don't give them enough credit for what they're doing. So if you go in any of the races, you'll have more women participating than men.
Wow. What do you think what's the reason for that? Because, like you say, you have, 5 kids?
I have 6.
You have 6 kids, and I can't imagine trying to raise 6 kids and getting out there at dawn also, and trying to also keep the canoe.
That's probably the only time I can do that. That's fine. But, I don't know why that many women. To be honest with you, my inspiration first started with a group of men from Wailea Canoe Club. And really what I admired about them was their discipline and their commitment that they put into what they did. Of course, they do a competition, and they're just world known for what they do. But that kind of started for me. So as a mom of 6 children, I felt I needed discipline in my life as well, not me just being the disciplinarian in my household. And I saw that, and so I admired the men. So they actually really motivated me to kind of do that little push. And then as I saw it, I kind of wanted to build a group of women to compete. And Akua had a different plan for me. and he didn't give me 5, but he gave me 35. And so, and it's just growing from there. And I think I'm really, really happy with his decision and his plans that he's made. And I'm just enjoying everybody's friendship, support. Like I said, many of these women come from all over. I've got someone that lives part-time in Seattle, actually really flies back just to paddle.
Really?
Yes. And
Wow.
so of all ages, I do have a young group of women, or juniors are what we call them. A couple of them are my daughters.
How old are your daughters doing it?
16 and 17, but
Gosh,
we've got them from all
You look
ages.
fantastic. That's great.
And, and so we have even had this young group of women who are out there doing the same thing that, our other women are doing. And we definitely want to kind of guide them and kind of open this up to them that, this journey that they're taking in their life is the same thing, a journey that they take on the canoe and reach the galaxies.
Well, they are. Well, in a way, it's amazing because you're getting to see the legacy being carried on, I mean, and you have too. I bet you have people, Kimo, that you started when they were young, and they probably have kids now also who are now, right? Yeah,
they do. It's really funny because I have early childhood canoe event that Kihei helps me with every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We call them the Manini Cruise, and we now have paddlers who that paddle under me, and that now have children, and the children attending the activity with us at the Ko'i'e local ER, which is the fish pond in Kihei, right by the National Marine Sanctuary. And I'll let Kihei tell you because I'm really
that fish pond's an amazing project. I've seen it because sometimes I'll have lunch at Monsoon India. There has that restaurant, and you can see it. It's right out front there. And it's so historic and it's beautiful, and you'll see the people taking, and it's like, if you think weed pulling's difficult, you're taking rocks from the bottom and putting the rocks up to make the big rocks to restore the wall there, right?
Yes. And, there's a lot of history there to, again, much value. But what Uncle was talking about with the Maninis is it's a early childhood cultural education program that we have Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8 to 10. And we really take on any child. Parents are welcome to stay and share in on the day. We have as young as 4 years old.
Wow.
Jumping in the canoe, paddling. But, it's not just about paddling, although the paddling encompasses so much more of just the paddle. But we take them back, we teach them chants, olis, protocol, teach them how to swim. We teach them how to swim with life jackets, and teach them some of the plants and about the coconut, the uses of our plants. I mean, just different things. Our culture is amazing. It's an amazing thing. And if we actually really open ourselves up to it and pay attention, it teaches us a lot more sometimes than the books.
What have you
can
learned?
offer.
What have you learned, and how have you changed from canoeing?
Well, I've definitely learned how to value my culture a lot more. Again, living in Kihei, Maui, we have a big family there, our Kina family that's been, raised in that area, and just with the movement of needing to work, being in the workforce, it's kind of taken us away sometimes, I think, of culture and just being busy. But like everything, we need to make the time, as much as we can make time for social gatherings and work, we need to make the time for those things to, take in. But really, culture is a way of life, right? It's not a sometimes kind of thing. You don't do it just to 8 to 10. You actually do it all day long. And so we want to just help people to continue that. So like with our Maninis, we teach them, even if you say one Hawaiian new word a day, just practice that.
Okay, what's our Hawaiian word for the day?
Imua.
Moving forward together?
Moving forward, yes.
Yeah, we call the word of the day would be probably holomua. Holo is to go, and mua is to go with the most positive action, positive thoughts, positive work habits.
For those listening that don't live on the islands, Imua is spelled I-M-U-A.
To go forward,
Yeah.
And the reason for that, we want to make sure, like what she was talking about, early childhood learning, So as young as they are, somebody would come down there and they're holding a 24-inch paddle in their hand, and what can they really do, So for us adults is to make sure that they get in a canoe and do a technical training and move the canoe fast enough so they can get to the regatta. But as Mel says, she played a really intricate part with the Manini program we have this summer, early childhood learning. So all we can do
is that open to anyone still? Or
open to anyone. They just come down, and we'll be there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the National Marine Sanctuary, Hawaiian Island Humpback Whale, and sign up there.
And at what time?
At 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
And it's open to anyone.
Open to anyone.
That's a wonderful gift.
Really, what we want our early childhood program is that we want to teach them to see, to feel, and hear the ocean and we want them to possess their own Maui. So it's a great thing. Yesterday we had them harvesting the coral. Taking it with the buckets, put it in a canoe, take them back on a canoe, go back on a wall, and again, because they're little kids, we line them up with the coral and pass it together and teach everybody how to lokahi work together and put the rock on the wall.
How's that fish pond coming?
Oh, very well. Well, we've got a lot of support, and that it's such a great area, and it's ideal for family and for kids itself. And I see a lot of influx of families and young people bringing their young because they're toddlers.
Yes, it's one of the common questions, Cindy. How is the fish pond coming? When are you going to finish with it? So it's a way of our life. So we have challenges with the environment. We have big waves. We've had tsunami. We have earthquakes. And all of this is an element that works against a wall of the fish pond, March 11, 2011, we all know that, about Japan having the largest tsunami, and 8 hours later it came right here and affected all the fish ponds in the state of Hawaii. But the kupuna, or our elders before, did not quit. It was just a way of their life. They just go back and put the rock back on the wall, the pohaku. So we are always putting pohakus back on the wall, and we'll probably not stop that. And funny, when we had the wall 20 years ago, everything was down. It's almost like building a subdivision, Cindy. If you build a subdivision, the people come. So putting the rocks back on the wall, the fish pond, we brought back the seaweed, we brought back the crab, the opihi, the puhi, which is the eel, the vana, which is a sea urchin, the loli, which is a sea cucumber, the aama, the black crab, the kohono, the white crab, the veki, the goldfish, the mullet, the moi, the o'eo. So 20 years now, we've gotten over 40,000 children.
Wow.
And we have a great impact on the environment, and we've had many challenges, like with the storm bringing the mud water and everything down. But the fish pond has been a great community project. But going back to this Friday's event, it takes a village to make a canoe, and it'll take the village to help Wahine or Moana to get and purchase a brand new lightning. And so please come and support them. Again, call 359-9103 and ask for Kihei.
And I want to thank both of you so much. We have only a minute left, so I'm going to close out the Facebook Live. Thank you, everyone, for watching. You can go back, and if you haven't seen it, it's at Cindy Palos, Facebook Cindy Palos, and see that. I feel so honored to have had both of you here in the studio to share your stories. I really feel like I've gotten to know you, and I'm really touched and amazed at your story alone. That with 6 kids and now your daughter's doing it. That how beautiful that story is. And with Kimo, of course, I've known you for years, but I've never really had this much time to talk to you before.
Mahalo, Cindy.
So it's really a blessing to do this and have time to talk and share story and talk story. Call 359-9103, 359-9103. It's going to be an event to remember this Friday with Sister Robi Kahakalau, Jon Cruz, Barry Flanagan, Jarrett Roback, and I'm sure you're going to be there too as well, right? Both of you?
Yes.
Yes, we are. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Aloha.
Aloha.